Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Today's video will be a different one. We are going to look at some of the comments made in a discussion on Sikhi on the YouTube channel of Jaipur Dialogues. There were 3 panelists. I have been planning, I was writing their points long back to refute what they were saying in their discussion, but because of some reasons I could not continue that. Then a post showed up a couple of days back on Quora that these people are speaking against the Sikh values. So the journey continued. First thing first, the title of the video is not correct. They mentioned Abrahamization of Sikhism, but I did not hear them talk about it. Most of the time, these guys were talking about the similarities between Hinduism and Sikhism on philosophical manner. What they should have done is, based on their title, how the Abrahamization of Sikhism is taking place and how it all started. Who is doing that? How it is getting done? These were the sort of questions that you really expect. These are the things that you want them to discuss when they say, okay, Abrahamization of Sikhism is taking place. But that was not the case in the whole video. The funny part is, they started the discussion from Macauliffe, and that was not a very good presentation and talk either. If you are an adult, right, and you have been discussing on different matters, you should be able to write a better presentation, even if you are going to talk about Macauliffe. There are many points that could have been written about Macauliffe, but maybe, it was a quick window to make the PPT, or the person was not much of a techie. Maybe he made his first presentation in that particular discussion. I'm not sure. I agree with the guy when he said in the beginning that there is no Sikh or Hindu, the boundary in Punjab. I will add one word here that he did not: socially. But religiously, they are different. This is the thing I loved about Punjab. While growing up, we were never told to make friends based on religion or color or caste. The guy should be good, should have good things to talk about. There should be something common between you guys, and boom, you are friends. I believe during my times, we did not have much of religion talks among the teens than what has been there these days because of the polarization of the society based on religion. But at least Punjab is still safe. Then they talked about our Sikh Hindu, Sanu, who just looks like Shoaib Akhtar. He said he is not even interested in the question. If you are interested, go and read our 2 articles that we wrote on the Sikh identity. The links are in the description. You can read them. They are in Punjabi. But the beginning of the video, right, where he shows his presentation, he talks about the different identity of Sikhs as written by Macauliffe. And he showed, some of the references from his book, which seems like this Sanu guy has not even read beyond preface, because nothing conclusive he brought to the table what Macauliffe wrote after preface or in his next books. It was just, like, I'm going to read some 5 or 10 pages, maybe 20 pages, and I will pick just some paragraphs from here and there, and then I will paste it in my screenshot. That is a very bad way of presenting the things that we want to talk about. The so-called panel in the discussion, those people did not even give one reference to the historical Sikh scriptures before Macauliffe, or, maybe before British conquered Punjab in 1849 with the help of Purbias. You cannot call this a discussion. You are not even bringing the Sikh historical references. Even if you are, just say for the sake of the argument that you are going to bring historical references, right? Sikh historical references, then you are going to pick those verses which have already been talked about by different scholars. We have written a couple of articles on some of the things as well. So there are, let's say, some 1,000 sentences and out of those 1,000 sentences you are going to pick only some 10-20 sentences to prove your point. That is a very bad way of looking at the history. Dr. Ganda Singh, who is one of the prominent Sikh scholars of the 20th century, he wrote while editing Amarnama, a 1708 book, that some Brahmins have been alleging that Macauliffe was responsible for the removal of the Brahmins from the stage of Sikhi. But that is not true in the light of Sikh historical books, Rahatnames and Gurbani. So it is not like in the 21st century these people are doing these things. Oh no, it happened earlier also. And at that time also, people were bringing Macauliffe's name into all these things as if there was no different Sikh identity before Macauliffe or before Europeans came to Punjab. Anyways, Macauliffe did write an exceptional series on the Sikh religion, but it has some faults. But much of the content is true, as the members of the Singh Sabha were helping him to write about the Sikh history. It is also been alleged in the discussion, and it is there on some bad websites also, that Paikhan Singh Nabha was influenced by Macauliffe. But the truth of the matter is, it is the other way around. Macauliffe asked Paikhan Singh Nabha's help in number of occasions. Paikhan Singh Nabha mentioned it in Mahan Kosh that Macauliffe visited Nabha for help. I think there is one book which was recently published about the travels of Paikhan Singh Nabha, where he mentioned some of the points about living with Macauliffe. Yet to get the book though, but it was quoted by some other author. These sort of guys, they hate Macauliffe. The reason being, he wrote in his book that Sikhs are different than Hindus. And they hate him to that extent that they said Macauliffe is the true guru who is going to tell Sikhs the true teachings. Meaning, he mistranslated the Gurbani, he gave the wrong history. So whatever Macauliffe has written, Sikhs believe that. But it is not like that. People read Macauliffe's work, but they do not stop there. They go beyond Macauliffe. If Sikhs read Macauliffe's work, they also read Tawari Khalsa, Panth Prakash, Suraj Prakash, Rahatname, Mehma Prakash, Pansavli Nama, Gursobha Granth. Sikhs read these original scriptures too. They do not stop at Macauliffe. People have to understand that. They also say that it is not Guru's Sikhi, but it is Macauliffe's Sikhi. Or Sikhs don't honor the 10 Sikh Gurus or Guru Granth Sahib but Macauliffe. This is the hatred that they have for Macauliffe. Like I said, Macauliffe's work is good, but I have not seen many authors who quote Macauliffe in their work. The reason being, Macauliffe himself said that Singh Sabha of Amritsar asked him to use Gurbilas, Suraj Prakash and other writings which aren't corrupted by anti-Sikh elements, which the other authors directly quote than Macauliffe's work, unless, of course, he brought something new. He also stated that Sikhs would be grateful to him because he used those works and teachings of their gurus while writing history. You may find books, videos, websites claiming Sikhs to be Hindus, but none of them or their organizations have brought a rebuttal to Hum Hindu Nahi. They brought some verses from here and there, but not the comprehensive rebuttal of Paikhan Singh Nabha's work. So they are talking about Sikhi, but they cannot even have a rebuttal for one of the books of Paikhan Singh Nabha. This is the knowledge of Sikhi that they have. And then they have discussions on Sikhism. Seriously? Moving to next points, because I can say a number of things on these points which I have been writing over the years. Let's talk about prophecy. Yes, it is mentioned in Macauliffe's work, a prophecy in the name of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, that when he was imprisoned, he was walking on the top of the jail and someone approached Aurangzeb with a fake story. And when asked by Aurangzeb, the Guru said he was not looking at Aurangzeb's apartments or queens, but the Europeans who are coming from beyond the sea to destroy his empire. Remember, this is written in 1909. In Gyani Gyan Singh's Tawari Khalsa, we see the similar lines. but that might have been added in the enlarged edition of the Granth, because I have seen one handwritten Granth of 1892 AD where the verses of prophecy are missing. Macauliffe might have been the first person to introduce this story in his book, or the source of this info was same for both Macauliffe and Gyani Gyan Singh. According to Pyara Singh Padam, this story was brought up by Narayan Singh. He argued in his book that if the Guru was imprisoned, who would have allowed him to roam freely on the terrace? And from Lal Killa to Chandni Chowk, there was half a mile distance. Nothing could have been seen from there. So we wrote this on Quora, so you can refer our answer. I will give the link in the description. So as we are on the prophecy, let's talk more prophecies here, okay? A prophecy was discussed by John Griffiths in 1794 that it is there in the Book of Sikhs that Europeans will be in possession of Delhi. Similarly, in 1780, Colonel Pollier mentioned a prophecy that the Sikh power will be destroyed by Europeans. Remember, these two prophecies, one in 1780 and second in 1794, these prophecies are discussed. Remember this, that the Sikh kingdom had not started yet. Dr. Ganda Singh believed it to be said by an enemy of the Sikhs. These prophecies were changed into the prophecy related to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. Dr. Ganda Singh believed it to be in 1857. There have been a number of books written down on the mutiny of 1857, but yet to find a close ear source for this 1857 prophecy, if it is there at all. I will try to write an article or maybe make a video on it later if I find new evidence. Then there are these verses, Na hum Hindu na Musalman. They discussed this in their so-called discussion, and they said this is a classical Advaitha understanding of dissolution of identity. If they really believe in that, then why they are so trying to portray that Abrahimization of Sikhi is happening? If you believe in Advaitha, then there is no enemy for you, nor friend. All are same. Why their Facebook page is hell-bent to go against Muslims if they truly believe in Advaitha? Or is it just like on the papers? Secondly, if it is related to believing that everything is Vaheguru, then why the whole Shabbat talks about the works and rituals of Hindus and Muslims? And then both are rejected in them. Sanu, right? He did not tell the whole Shabbat. What is the whole Shabbat? Why they did not show that? Why they brought only this particular line? You have to understand that. The whole Shabbat is Vart na raho na meh Ramadana, tisse vi jo rakha nidana, ek gusai Allah mera, Hindu Turk duhan ne bera, rahao, Haj Kaaba jao na tiras puja, eko sevi avar na ducha, puja karo na nivaj gujaro, ek nirankar le hriday namaskaro. Then it comes when it is rejected. I do not go here, I do not go there, I do not believe in this, I do not believe in that. Then it is mentioned, Na hum Hindu, na Musalman, Allah haram ke pind paran, kaho kabir ho kiya wakhana, gur peer mil khud khasam bachana. I have written this, I think, a number of times in the articles also on my blog, that there is one line, Kabir Brahman Guru hai Jagat ka, that O Kabir, Brahman is the Guru of the Jagat. If we are going to look at this line, only this part of the line, then that is not according to the teachings of the Guru, right? That, oh, Brahman is our Guru, but then Guru Nanak Dev Ji is our Guru, Guru Gobind Singh Ji is our Guru, Guru Arjan Dev Ji is our Guru, Shabbat is our Guru, Khasa is our Guru. But here it is saying Brahman is the Guru of the world. What to say on this? You have to read the complete line to understand this. Kabir Brahman Guru hai Jagat ka, Bhagatan ka Guru nahi. For Bhagats, he is not the Guru. He might be the Guru for others, but those who believe in the one, who believe in Vaheguru, he is not their Guru. So the same thing is happening in this line. They are bringing this Advaita understanding of the dissolution of identity. They did not talk about the whole Shabbat. They brought only this. So this guy, this Sanu guy, right? They showed one tweet also where a person is called a Hindu saint when he himself said he had no caste or religion. The thing is, if you really believe in Advaitha, right, then why they are trying to show the similarities between the two? I mean, on one side there is a dissolution of identity, on the other you are trying to portray the gurus as Hindus or Sanatani. You know what is funny? Sanu pronounced Gur Peer Mil Khud Khasam Pachana as Gur Peer Mili Khudi Khasmu Pachana. I mean, come on, dude. ਸਿਆਰੀਆਂ ਬਿਹਾਰੀਆਂ ਤਾਂ ਲਾਣਾ ਸਿੱਖ ਲਾ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ, ਬਾਅਦ 'ਚ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰ ਲਈ ਵੀ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਸਿੱਖ ਕੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਬੋਲਣਾ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਆਉਂਦੇ। ਤੇਰੇ ਤਾਂ ਬੋਲ ਚਾਲ ਹੀ ਤੇਰੀ ਗਲਤ ਆ, ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਹੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਦਾ ਤੂੰ, ਅਰਥ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਸਹੀ ਲਾ ਲੇਂਗਾ ਤੂੰ। ਥੋੜ੍ਹਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਕਥਾ ਸੁਣ ਵੀਰ ਮੇਰੇ, ਗੁਰਮਤ ਦੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਸਿੱਖ, ਪੜ੍ਹ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ, ਫਿਰ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਪਤਾ ਚੱਲੂਗਾ। ਵੀ ਤੂੰ ਕਿਤਾਬਾਂ ਪੜ੍ਹ ਲਈਆਂ ਇੱਕ ਦੋ ਅਤੇ ਤੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਵੀ ਤੂੰ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦਾ ਬਾਹਲਾ ਗਿਆਨ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਪ੍ਰੀਫੇਸ ਪੜ੍ਹ ਕੇ। ਵੀਰ ਮੇਰੇ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਧਰਮ ਹੋਵੇ ਯਾਰ, ਇਕੱਲੀ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ, ਤੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਦੂਜਾ ਧਰਮ ਜਾਣਨਾ ਆਪਣਾ ਧਰਮ ਛੱਡ ਕੇ, ਰਾਈਟ। ਯੂ ਹੈਵ ਟੂ ਬੀ ਡੀਪ ਇਨਸਾਈਡ ਦਾ ਹੋਲ ਥਿੰਗ, then you will understand it. Anyways, it is true that the distortion of translation of Gurbani started by Dr. Ernest Trump back in the late 19th century. The panel forgot the name of the guy, so thought of bringing it up, but he did not leave the translation in between like they said. He completed it in English, but it was a distorted one. Look at it like this. The translation of Ik Oankar he mentioned as Om. So the first thing of the Granth he has written wrongly or translated wrongly. I don't need to go beyond that. There are other mistakes also. If you have read some of his work, right, he wrote essays also in the beginning of the book, and they are also bad. Anyways, Professor Jagbir Singh was also on the panel, and I have his book Interfaith Dialogue in Shri Guru Granth Sahib, which is still on the shelf. Maybe we'll read and review it in the upcoming months. He said Sikhism, Hinduism, Jainism and Buddhism are all independent religions, and that the Abrahamic faiths believe they have the monopoly on truth. Isn't the same has been portrayed in their discussion about the earlier tradition? He talked about the similarity between Rig Veda and Guru Granth Sahib Ji. If the religions are independent, if we don't want to believe in the monopoly of any religion over truth, why the discussion? Can't Sikhism and the writers of the Vedas have the similar thoughts on some of the matters? What is the issue in that? Moreover, he also said that Ram of Guru Nanak Dev Ji is Nirgun, not Dasharath's son, that is Ramchandra. He also said Guru did not wear a Janeu. He also said the Guru did not believe Vedas as Praman. I mean, when he said that, dude, look at the faces of the other two. They were like clean bold. Maybe they were not expecting that from him. But somewhere, he seems to contradict himself. Or maybe he could not enunciate it properly. Because he said Abrahamic religions are faith-based. Ours are not. Like Brahm is inside too, outside too. I mean, come on, that is also faith, right? You can't see him with your normal eyes. That does not become truth for many because we have it in our religion. I'm not denying that I don't believe in that. I firmly do. But if we are using a machine to destroy others' house, the same machine can be used to destroy yours. A very, very bad example. Terminology is important, yes. But saying we don't believe in God but Brahm, that is so lame. That is just a word in English. I mean, if it has a different meaning, then of course we can say otherwise if my understanding is correct. That is not the case. Like different names are there in Gurbani for Vaheguru, God is just an English word to say Vaheguru, or to say, okay, Vaheguru means Brahm, God means someone who is so powerful, who is everywhere. But usually if you talk about the top of everything, which is Vaheguru, it is represented with a capital G. If you want to talk about Devtas or some demigods, it is written in a small letter G. That is the difference, of course, but with the capital G, I don't think anyone should have any problem with that. And I agree, that some words have literal translations like Nirankar. it means no form. But saying Nirankar cannot be written as God in English in some way, that is wrong. If you want to have the literal translation, that is a different thing. But you can say Nirankar is God or God is Nirankar. He also said that you can't argue Shruti Granths but Simritis. But why? Why can't we argue Shruti Granths? No answer. If I am correct, Vedas come under Shruti. But he said Guru Sahib did not take Vedas as proof. I mean, there are some contradictory statements when he was speaking. It will happen, if you stick to your philosophy and won't look at it holistically. Coming to history, he said he did not know much about history, okay? But he know about philosophy. Maybe that is the reason he was confused or giving contradictory statements. He was sensible enough though to not touch the question on Pindramali Sant because he said emotions are attached to Harmandir Sahib and what happened in 1984. He gave a befitting reply though when it comes to the Dasam Guru Granth Sahib that the Guru wrote the stories of avatars for the Dharm Yudh. I believe the panel did not agree with him on a number of occasions but kept mum because he was trying to link Gurbani with Hindu texts. Last point, this Shoaib Akhtar looking guy, he said 1984 writers did not have any dharma. But also said, ये सब अब्राहमिक वाले मिले हुए थे. Good. Very good. I'm proud of you. I will give 50 years to the RSS ideologues and they won't disappoint me and will say Indira Gandhi was a descendant of Mughals. Anyways, I would request the people at Jaipur Dialogues to raise their bar of argument, especially if they want to talk about Sikhi, and try to have a consistent approach in their discussion. There are other videos as well related to Sikhism on their channel. Don't know if I will have the will to listen to some 60-minute talk that is very dull and shallow. We'll see. But I am not against any discussion about Sikhism. But if you are going to lie through your teeth, I will be there to tell the truth. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.